Hello, everyone. This is Southern Belle Whisper. I hope you all are doing well this evening. Just a little disclaimer before I start this video. This is going to be another DVD show and tell, but I know you guys have seen these DVDs in multiple videos. I plan to go on Friday and go thrifting and find some more DVDs to show you guys. But I just love DVD trigger videos, you guys. That's definitely top 3 for me. I don't know what it is about it, but I love it. So tonight we are going to be talking about some of my favorite comedy movies. Like on my worst days, I can put these movies on and laugh. And I love being joyful. I love being jubilant. I love being happy. So I love to laugh. And I love people that make me laugh. And I love movies that make me laugh. So we are going to be going through some of my favorite comedy movies. Starting with, hold on, let me scoot this over. There we go. Hopefully you guys can still hear me. Baby Boom. I am a huge fan of Diane Keaton movies, you guys. Like, she's one of my all-time favorites. Another movie I would like to own with her in it that I've seen a 1,000 times is The First Wives Club. I love her in that movie too. This one I haven't seen as much as The First Wives Club, but it's called Baby Boom. It was released in 1987. So it's a movie about this high-powered career gal that inherits a baby from a distant cousin. And, she never dreamed, she's a career woman. She never dreamed that she would be a mother. She never wanted to be a mother. But in the movie, she takes the little girl and they move to the country, to this beautiful house, you guys. Oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. And where she is a driven woman, like, she loves to work. She quits her job and moves to the country. And she starts making baby food and selling it in, like, it's a really small town. She starts selling it in, like, grocery stores and convenience stores, and it gets really popular. In the meantime, she falls in love with the veterinarian, who is played by Sam Shepard. And there's a really good kiss in this movie. You guys know I love a good kiss. I just think it's so sweet. And Diane Keaton, there's just something about her comedy. She is so different from other actresses. She's always been different. And I love that about her. Baby Boom. I love Mr. Mom too, but Baby Boom, such a great movie. Very, very, very good movie. Really sweet. Especially if you're a mama. I think mamas out there enjoy this movie a lot. My mama watched this movie with me when I was really young. It's definitely a great mama and daughter movie. That baby's so cute in this movie, you guys. Hold on, I'll be right back. Alright, next one. Damn microphone is casting a shadow. Sorry. What about Bob? This movie was released 19, I think it's an early 90s movie, if it doesn't say it on the back. But I'm a big fan of Richard Dreyfuss. I love Mr. Holland's Opus. I love the movie Always with him and Holly Hunter. I love, my favorite is Goodbye Girl. That's another movie I need to get. I love that movie. But in this movie, I grew up with this movie, you guys. I used to watch it with my family and my brothers all the time. And it's so quotable. Like, I can hear this picture right here. I'm sailing. So, it's about this psychiatrist. And he has a patient. His name is Bob. Bob is it ADHD or OCD? But when the movie starts, the psychiatrist that took care of our psychiatrist, anyways, calls him up and is like, I have this patient Bob, but I'm leaving my practice and I need to get Bob to another doctor. And this guy, Dr. Leo Marvin, has no idea what he is in for, because Dr. Leo Marvin is going on a trip with his family, and Bob hates the thought that Dr. Leo Marvin is not going to be there to talk to him. Like, his anxiety is like, oh my gosh, it's awful. So, well, for one thing, this movie wouldn't fly nowadays because he literally finds out where Leo Marvin is vacationing and he follows them. But it's just so damn funny. It is so funny how Dr. Leo Marvin is this kind of uptight, clean-cut doctor, but at the end of the movie, he totally loses his marbles, and it's hilarious. I would have never dreamed that a movie with Richard Dreyfuss and Bill Murray would be such a joy to watch, but it's so funny, you guys. So funny. What about Bob? Next. 17 again. I know that I've showed this movie in a lot of my DVD videos, but I just love it so much. It was released in 2009, so I was 18 when this movie came out. So it starts, he's a senior in high school, he's the basketball captain, and he finds out that his sister, gosh, my gosh, I'm thinking about my brother. I just got off the phone with my brother, so he finds out that his girlfriend is pregnant. And he has a choice whether he wants to choose her and their children, or he can choose a career in basketball. And then it's like, I think it's like 13 or 18 years later, and Matthew Perry plays, what's his name? Mike O'Donnell. And he's bitter. He feels like he missed out on the chance of being a huge basketball player because his girlfriend got pregnant. And him and this girlfriend, who is played by Leslie Mann, are in the middle of a divorce because you can tell she still loves him, but he's just so bitter about, the choices that he made in life that he can't see it. So he bumps into this angel janitor guy who's played by Bill Murray's brother, and the janitor is like, I bet you wish you could do it all over again, don't you? And he's like, of course. So he sees the angel again, jumping off a bridge. And when he goes to save him, he falls into like this warp that takes him back to when he was 17. It's played by Zac Efron. It's my favorite Zac Efron movie. He does so good. Especially when Mike's daughter in the movie gets a crush on him. That's hilarious. But he realizes, being 17 again, that he didn't make mistakes. That he's just been blind for a very long time. And he realizes at the end that he's just been blind and stupid. And it's just a great movie about second chances. And I love his friend Ned. His friend Ned is the cutest. Like, he's a nerd, but he's like I would totally go for that. He's so cute. Because they get him in high school again, of course, so he can join the basketball team, because he's thinking, oh, well, I can go back and play basketball and be a basketball player like I always dreamed. And Ned gets a crush on the principal, and it's so funny. So funny. I love this movie. It has Matthew Perry in it too. Who says you're only young once? Just so good, you guys. Now, this comedy is very controversial, but it's the only Jack Black movie that I own, even though I love Jack Black. But I actually love this movie. But it is very controversial. And that is Shallow Hal. This movie came out in 2001, so I was 10. And it starts off in the beginning, his dad passes away, and he gives him like this, like a pep talk about finding a beautiful woman one day and falling in love with her. So he takes that as, okay, beautiful woman you meet like on the outside. So he grows up being very shallow and only looks at women through their looks. And this guy, this like voodoo guy, puts a spell on him to where any woman that he runs into, it looks like they're beautiful, like drop dead gorgeous, beautiful, until he falls in love with this girl right here. Her name is Rosemary. I love her name. It's played by Gwyneth Paltrow, and he thinks that he has hit the jackpot. He was like, she's so beautiful and she has a good heart too. But Rosemary, of course, is, well, not who he sees at first. Because he just looks at the outside. But he falls in love with her heart and how caring she is and how kind she is. So when the spell breaks, he realizes, he tells her, he said, you're the only woman that I've ever loved. And he sees her for, what she is, which is a bigger woman, 300-pound, not so hottie. I hate how they word that, because I'm 300 pounds. Actually, I'm not anymore, yes. But not so hottie. I don't like how they worded that. But I do think it sets a good example on not judging people by the way they look. And Jack Black makes it so funny. I love Jack Black. This was released in 2008, so I was 17 when this came out. It's 27 Dresses. Katherine Heigl. Jane is a career woman. I forgot what she does for a living, but she's a people pleaser. And she doesn't really focus on herself. It's always about somebody else. And her sister comes to live with her. And her sister and her boss fall in love. And she actually has a secret crush on her boss. So she is devastated, of course. And then there's also another character named Malcolm Doyle. She doesn't know at first that he is the columnist for one of her favorite parts of the newspaper, which is the wedding announcements. He goes by like a different name. That's played by James Marsden. And at first, he's trying to get a good story that will put one of his columns in the front page. And she tells him about the 27 dresses that she still owns because she's always been a bridesmaid. 27 weddings. And so he takes pictures of her and the dresses, and he interviews her. And there's a really good scene, Benny and the Jets scene. That's one of my favorites. But then the next day, after they had that great scene where they sing Benny and the Jets and they give it to their feelings, his boss decides to release the column without telling him. And she is heartbroken. She slaps him when she finds out. And it's really sad when she slaps him because he just looks shocked, but he also looks like, yeah, I deserve that. But I love Katherine Heigl movies, you guys. I love Katherine Heigl in general. The Heat. You guys, the first time I watched the trailer for this movie, 2013, so I was 22 when this movie came out. Wow. Okay. When I watched the trailer for this movie for the first time, I was like, Sandra Bullock and Melissa McCarthy buddy cop movie, because I don't like buddy cop movies that much. Actually, I don't really like buddy cop movies at all, but I love this movie so much. And I didn't know Sandra Bullock could be so damn funny either. Like, I know she's funny in most of her movies. I love her in Miss Congeniality. She's one of my favorites. I love all her movies. But it's just about a cop and an FBI agent who work together to bring down this, what's his name? I forget. But it's one of the only movies that I can really stand listening to a bunch of cuss words. Besides Bridesmaids. I love Bridesmaids too. But I usually don't like movies that has a lot of cussing. But Melissa McCarthy just makes it so damn funny that you can't help it. The Heat. Oh, classic. Classic. I got this one because of 2 Weeks Notice. I love Hugh Grant. He's so cute. 2 Weeks Notice was released. Can't remember. But so this guy is like a big businessman, and this girl is like a evangelist. I wouldn't call it evangelist, but she takes up for like certain buildings and places that he is trying to demolish with his company. And one day, when she's like trying to take a stand for one of the buildings, he says, "You know what? You're actually you're smart. You got a good head on your shoulders. I need somebody like you in my company." So he makes her into his assistant. But she gets tired of how he always calls her to like pick out his suits and do things for him. And the last straw was when he called her at a wedding that she was in and was like, "It's an emergency." And it wasn't. It wasn't an emergency. So she was like, "I give my 2 weeks notice." But we all know what happens. At least you should. I love Sandra Bullock. I do. She changes him for the better, makes him into a more caring individual. Because to him, in the beginning, it's all about power and money. But she makes him realize that life is so much more than that. So, very, very good movie. I have both of the Father of the Bride movies. These movies are close to my heart. Steve Martin. In the first one, his daughter, who is I think also 22, comes home. I think it's from college, I think. And she announces that she has fallen in love and that she's getting married. And Steve Martin always makes me think of my dad in this movie. How he reacts to it all. He's like, "How much is this going to cost me?" And her husband-to-be is like, I don't know what you would call him, but he has like, he doesn't really work. He's like is it like freelancer or something? I don't know. But he believes that she deserves better. But she is just so in love with this guy. His name's Brian. And it ends well. And it sets a good message about family, love. Another Diane Keaton movie. So the first one was released in... Hold on. I know it's a nice movie. The second one is my favorite, though. Favorite. So, same actors. Diane Keaton, Steve Martin, Martin Short. I love that. And, what's her name? What was her name? Kimberly Williams. Paisley. Yeah, because she's Brad Paisley's wife. This must be before she married Brad Paisley. Anyways, in this movie, she announces that she's pregnant, and he gets called Grandpa, and he has like this midlife crisis, and he dyes his hair, and he buys a new car, a Mustang or something, a Porsche. I think it's a Porsche. And he goes home, and him and his wife, Diane Keaton, have a little rendezvous in the kitchen, and she ends up getting pregnant. And that is such a funny scene. Like, they're with the doctor, and they're thinking, "Oh my God, she has cancer or something." He was like, "Just give it to us straight, doctor. Just Just tell us. Is she gonna be okay? And he's like, Anita is fine. Something about a problem that won't go away after 9 months. Sorry about that. But, so his wife gets pregnant. So his daughter and his wife are pregnant at the same time. He's like, and who may I ask is the father? Knowing that, of course you're the father. It's just such a cute ending. It makes me cry every time. Steve Martin is just such a great actor, you guys. He is one of my favorites. And it's funny, it's heartwarming. Such a good movie. Such a good movie. Dirty Rotten Scoundrels. Now, I've only seen this movie once, but another great Steve Martin movie with Michael Caine and Steve Martin as two con men who at first worked together to, like, con this, I think it's a rich woman, but then they start hating each other. And it's just so funny. It's a really funny movie, you guys. Steve Martin's the best. Truly. He truly is. And this movie was released in 1988. The 80s was such a great time for movies, you guys. I just watched this one the other night. For Richer or Poorer. This was released in 1990 something, I know that. But this is Brad and Caroline Sexton, who Tim Allen and Kirstie Alley play them. And it starts out, they're celebrating their 10-year anniversary, and he's using their anniversary as a reason to show off one of this, I think he's an architect. And, so you realize at the beginning of the movie that they actually hate each other. They've lost sight of what's important in life because of power and money. And they have this, he's like a assistant, I guess. But he steals $3 million from the IRS because he hasn't been filling out the IRS papers like he's supposed to. But what the IRS sees is that Caroline and Brad have not been filling out their taxes like they're supposed to. So they track them down, and they steal a taxi and drive off, and they wreck. He drives into a lake because of a cow in the middle of the road. And the next morning they realize they have hit Amish country, and they decide to pretend to be Amish. And it's so funny. But they didn't realize that, well, they realize at the end that pretending to be Amish, when they're found out, you find out the end, and they're so disappointed in themselves. But they realize if they had never pretended to be Amish, it wouldn't have repaired their marriage. Because not only did they fall in love with the people and the community, but they fell in love with each other. But it's so funny. The part where she makes them sleep in a rocking chair. This old guy bursts in out of nowhere. And oh my gosh, it's just so freaking funny. I love this movie. So good. I love Kirstie Alley movies. So good. Chevy Chase. Another staple in my family, you guys. It was released in 1988. It's about a city couple that moved to the country. So, Andy is his name, can write a book. And as we all know, the city really is nothing like the country. And they run into a lot of things that they never would have dreamed they would run into. That includes snakes, includes a body that was buried in the garden, includes a very crazy postman. He doesn't even stop to put the mail in the mailbox. He just drives by cackling and throws the mail out the window. They deal with that. And they deal with trying to get a dog too. The first dog they get is a spaniel, and as soon as they let the spaniel out of the car, it runs off and only shows up ever so often until he gets yellow dog. It's just so funny, man. Mr. Lamb Fries, where he's oh my gosh, there's a part they're at the diner and he's trying to beat a record for how many lamb fries to eat. Oh, he hits that record until he finds out that lamb fries are actually bull testicles. And it's just so funny. So funny. Chevy Chase, man. Chevy Chase. Great movie. Billy Madison. My brother sent me the part from this movie on Valentine's Day. You know, the part where the principal gives Billy a Valentine and it says, "Happy Valentine, I want you, Billy." That's what it says. And my brother sent me that because he knows we used to watch it together all the time and laugh our butts off. Billy is this rich parent kid that is spoiled, and his dad is trying to pass down these hotels that they own to someone that he knows will take it seriously. And at first he wants to pass it down to Eric, who is his assistant, who Billy hates. And Billy's like, "Why not me?" And his dad's like, "Psh," at first. But then Billy's like, "Come on, Dad, you know, I can run the family business," or whatever. And his dad said, "Okay, you never graduated high school. So if you can go back to school and in 3 weeks finish 1st through 12th grade and graduate, I will pass down the hotels to you." And classic Adam Sandler movie, you guys. He's so funny in this movie. I am so glad I grew up with Adam Sandler in the 90s. Did y'all hear that on Netflix there's supposed to be a show coming out with Jim Carrey and Adam Sandler? I was like, oh my gosh. Like, my top 2 favorites, like, yes, please. I hope it is as good as they're making it out to be. But Billy Madison, great movie. Have some more sloppy joes. I made them extra sloppy for you. I know how you kids like them sloppy. Lady, you're scaring us. Donkey Kong sucks. Just great movie. So funny. My favorite rom-com of all time, Overboard. This movie was released in 1987. This movie, you guys. This is a movie that never goes out of style. It is a classic. So Dean is a carpenter. Joanna is like this really selfish, conceited, all about her owner of a yacht. And she's rich, of course. And he comes to her yacht to build her a closet for her shoes. And she is not happy with the closet. And they had this big fight in which he tells her, "You are so damn bored that you gotta invent stuff to bitch about." But later that night, she falls overboard. Well, she pushes him overboard when he pretty much tells her what she already knows, but she's so selfish and conceited that she doesn't see it. But she pushes him overboard and doesn't pay him. He tells her, he says, "I'm going to get you for this." And that night she falls overboard and loses her memory. And he sees her on the news and he's like, "I know how she can pay me back." And he goes to the crazy house to get her and says that he is her husband and she is his wife and the mother of his 4 boys. And of course he uses her as like a slave. He makes her do all the housework, cook for the kids, make the kids lunches. And of course at first they're picking on her too. But they all start, especially the kids, start falling in love with her. And so does he. And great ending to this movie. Predictable, but very romantic. I love Overboard. Okay, this is the last one. This one was actually supposed to be in Paula's package that I sent her, but it didn't come in time. But it's okay, because I actually really love this movie, and I love that I have it for my collection now. Night Shift. Ever since 2 enterprising young men turned the city morgue into a swinging business, people have been dying to get in. The world of Wall Street drove Charles Stanley III up the wall. His new job at the New York City morgue is much quieter, until Billy Blazkowski arrives one night, an idea man with more solutions than there are problems. Billy has a cool idea on how to liven things up. Directed by Ron Howard. I did not know that. I love Ron Howard. Night Shift is a breakneck comedy rife with ideas, mostly hysterical. Henry Winkler is low-key, lumely, and a delightfully offbeat performance. Cheers alumni Shelley Long also scores in a role light years from prime barmaid Diane. But the casting triumph is Michael Keaton. Yes, it is. In his movie debut as Billy Blaze, so this was Michael Keaton's first movie, launching a rich career ranging from Beetlejuice to Batman to Jackie Brown. Is this a great country or what? That's a quote that he says in this movie. This movie is so freaking funny, you guys. And I can't believe I watched it as a little girl because it's actually rated R. It was released in 1982. There is nudity in it. I think that's the only thing that makes it rated R is nudity. Because I don't think there's a lot of cussing or anything like that. But it's so funny, you guys. If you guys are a big Henry Winkler fan, sorry, like I am, and Michael Keaton, of course, watch this. It's so funny. But anyways, you guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I love you guys, and I'll be talking